back to your nose, and she's doing that just fine. And then I would have her do that again with her eyes closed. Perfect. And so that test is negative. And then I would have you, I'll take the video, I will have her take one foot and put it on her knee and slide it down, and to see if she could do that appropriately and without any pain or issues. That's perfect. And next I would be testing her sensories. I would be testing for sharp or dull. So I would have something sharp like I have right here, and I would be telling her this is sharp and this is dull. And then I would be testing on various parts of her body. Does this feel sharp?
Dull. Sharp. Dull.
And then I would do that through her hands and her face, and I could do it on her chest, on her legs, on her back to test for that. Again, I would use my tuning fork, trusty tuning fork, to test her vibratory sense, and I would touch it on her to see if she could feel the vibrations, and figure out what position things are in. Stereognosis, I would have her hold a quarter and see if she could identify what it is, and if she could, that her stereognosis would be intact. 2-point discrimination, I would hold 2 pins and put them close together on her hand, and then move them slightly apart until she was able to discern whether there was 1 pin or 2. I don't have a pin, so I'll just use my fingers, but we'll pretend these are 2 little pins. So I would put them close together and see if she could identify if there was 1 pin or 2.
1.
And then gradually go out further.
2.
And then I would do that again up on her shoulder and on her back. And you expect on the hands where they're very sensitive that she would be able to discern that very quickly, and on her back where there's not as many nerves and it's not as sensitive, it could go up to a couple centimeters before she would figure it out, whereas on her hand it would be a couple millimeters. That would be 2-point discrimination. And then for graphesthesia, I'm going to have her hold out her hand, and I would do this on both sides, and I'm just going to write a number and you can tell me what number that is.
4.
Yep, so her graphesthesia is intact. I would do that bilaterally as well. And then lastly, I would get to the deep tendon reflexes, and I would want to grade those. +2 is normal, +4 is excessive, and then 0 would obviously be an absence of the reflex. So I'm going to use my tuning fork, which is also a hammer, a reflex hammer, and I would start doing her AC, her brachial reflex here. And so I'm not going to do it because I don't want to hurt her, but I would test here, and when she had the reflex, she would reflex. This isn't, obviously it's not, so I'm not going to hit her with it. But normal would be +2, and I suspect because she's a healthy young lady, she will be a 2. And then the tricep reflex, I would have her hold her elbow out, and I would do the same thing here, and I would get a reflex, and I would grade the reflex. And then I would also do it on her hand. I would have her put her hand at an angle, and then I would do it in here. The radial ulnar reflex is right here. And so then I would check for that. And then I would do that again on her knees, on her patella. Well, I'm not going to show you, you know what her patella is, but I would do it again on her patella, and then I would do it on her Achilles and ankle. And I probably should show that just so you know that I know where they are. So I'm not good with this. So yeah, I would do her Achilles. I would do that back here. And I would do her ankle here. And in addition, I would want to have her plantar flex with this. Can you just push out? And then I would push back. And the same with ankle clonus. I would want to have her dorsiflex her foot, and notice if there was any jerking, any issues there that would indicate some nerve issues. And also if she was an athlete, she might have that because her muscles would be tighter. And then the last thing I would do would be the Babinski reflex on her foot. And that's where I would take my object, and I would go down her foot to see if there was fanning of the toes, which I wouldn't expect on someone over 2, and if I did, there would be something neurologically wrong. or if when I did it, her toes would curl and that someone aged over 2, which is normal. So that's how I would do my muscular and neuro assessment. Thank you.